Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. We will start. It is 2 minutes past 10 already. We would like to start because our speakers has got other commitments. So Michelle Albers from the municipality side will just do the official welcoming.
Thank you, Portia. Morning, everybody. My name is Michelle Albers. I'm the Manager of Community Development at Stellenbosch Municipality. And it's my honor and my privilege to do the welcome at this auspicious event. And I'm looking forward to the participation that will spring from this process. I would like to welcome Councillor Jeremy Fasser. He is the newly appointed MACO member for Youth, Sport and Culture at the municipality. Welcome, Councillor. We're looking forward to walking the road with you with regards to youth development. And then I also would like to welcome Chantal Boyce and her team from Open Up. They are running the Code Bridge program that we are utilizing this morning for the establishment or the launching of the Youth Forum. And I want to thank them for their commitment and their support in getting this important platform going and off the ground. Then I'd also like to thank Jeremy David. He's from the Franschoek Hospitality Academy, and he's a long-standing partner and a doer when it comes to youth development. So thank you, Jeremy, also for your involvement in this process. And then to all the youth who's present today virtually at this or at one of the outside venues or joined in on their own devices. They are the most important participants this morning, and I want to thank them for their time and welcome them to this process. And we look forward to engaging with the youth of Stellenbosch municipal area. And then lastly, allow me to thank Portia Jansen and her team for putting the program together with Open Up. I appreciate your hard work and your dedication to youth development within our municipal area. And that's all from my side. I hope this is going to be a lovely morning and that everybody will have an opportunity to participate, although this is only the start of hopefully many things to come. So everybody's commitment and involvement in this process is much appreciated, and I hope you all feel welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. We will now give our Councillor, Jeremy Fasser, the opportunity to speak to everyone. He is newly appointed with us. He has been working in the community with community programs. He was and still is a learning and driver instructor. So he gets to speak to the community on a daily basis and hear their needs and all their wants. So he has now been appointed as our portfolio councillor for youth and sports and culture. Thank you, Councillor. You may proceed.
Good morning and thank you, Program Director. Good morning, Michelle, Portia Jansen from the Stellenbosch Municipality. I want to also say very good morning to the management team of Open Up and all other NGOs joining us. And most importantly, our youth of Stellenbosch. All protocols observed. My name is Councillor Jeremy Fasser, and I'm the Mayoral Committee member for Youth, Sports and Culture. One of my key portfolio functions is the development of our young people within the greater municipality of Stellenbosch. Our youth plays a critical role in shaping our future, whether it is academic, on the sports field, or in our communities. We can all agree that we need to create a structure for young people to collectively raise their voices and through which the youth of Stellenbosch can share their ideas and inputs. And this has led us to the establishment of a youth forum. So people may ask, why do we need a youth forum? According to the National Youth Plan of 2030, the goal is to enhance the capabilities of young people so that they are responsible and contributing members to their communities and society. I really want to take this opportunity to thank Michelle Albers and Portia Jansen from the Stellenbosch Municipality community development team, as well as the management of Open Up, who tirelessly spearheaded this endeavor and assisting our youth in the greater Stellenbosch area. Through the Stellenbosch Youth Forum, we want to represent and develop young people who are willing to contribute effectively for the betterment of their communities. They can collectively tackle obstacles facing them, and in doing so, encourage more young people to participate specifically related to government programs. One of our biggest hopes is to have young people of Stellenbosch fully integrated, and this forum will create a platform where they can engage one another and share the community's backgrounds and activities. In closing, our goal is to empower our young people. We want to equip them with knowledge and skills. They must be able to seize the opportunities and take responsibilities in making a meaningful contribution to the development of a democratic and prosperous South Africa. I end off with this quote. The common way people give up their power is by thinking that they don't have any. Unquote by Alice Walker. Our youth have the power to take our beautiful country forward. We must create and provide them with the tools and skills to move forward with purpose. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor, for those words. We will now go over to Jeremy Davids from the Franschoek Hospitality Academy. Jeremy, as Michelle has said, has been partnering with the municipality for a couple of years already, and he is very active within the youth community there in Franschoek. So he will just give us some motivation around creating a.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning to Portia and also the team of Open Up. Good morning to you, Michelle, as well, and of course the councillor, and of course all the youth that are listening in at the moment. All other protocols observed. It really is a wonderful opportunity for me to talk and a great privilege to all of you this morning. Because this is a matter that is so close to my heart. I believe that young people should have a voice, the youth should have a voice, and not only a voice, they should then thereafter be mandated and supported to also contribute towards society. So for me, it really is a wonderful opportunity to talk to all of you this morning. I'm just going to give a sort of brief overview of how we sort of 5-6 years ago, when we started the Franschoek Youth Forum here in Franschoek, what the reasons was, how we operated, how we structured our forum, and of course why it became dormant. At the moment it is dormant, and there's a reason for that, why it became dormant, and then I will say also a couple of lessons that we've learned and challenges that we had, that I think the new structure that we want to form now should be aware of. Of course, we were operating at a time where we were not dealing with the pandemic. Now we're dealing with the pandemic, so that is going to, of course, create new challenges towards a structure like this, but perhaps we can talk about that at another time. However, when we started the Franschoek Youth Forum was about 7-8 years ago. The main purpose of the forum was to build trust, to build relationships between youth leaders, and I really want to emphasize on that. It was people, young people, between the ages of 14 and 35 years old, that was in a leadership position in an organization in Franschoek. So that could now be any organization, whether it was a church group, whether it was a sport club, whether it was a art or drama club, or an NGO. It doesn't matter. Any young person that was in a leadership position in a youth organization, that young person was invited to a meeting. And the first initial meeting was, we invited only about 5 or 6 people at a time, because we didn't know everybody. And of course, we wanted to include everybody. And if I say include everybody, I mean people coming from all the communities in the Franschoek Valley, not only so-called Grondal, but all the other communities in the Franschoek Valley, was Bosbul, Saagmele, Wemmershoek Dam, the Drakenstein Correctional Services community, Waldevie, Pearl Valley, Dennegier, Grondal, Franschoek North, all the communities in the Franschoek Valley. So we wanted to include everybody, but because we didn't know everybody at the time, we invited only the ones that we know of, and of course from there we wanted to, through that network or meeting, get to the other people. So what we did was we invited about 5-6 people, and we were asking ourselves one question, and the question was, why, you know, there's a lot of young people doing good work in Franschoek, you know, and they are involved in organizations, but we don't know of each other. So that was for us a problem in the beginning. Why don't we know of each other? Why don't we work together? Because we were working in isolation. You know, there was a sport club in Saagmele, and there's a sport club in Grondal, but we don't communicate with each other. Yet we want the same thing. The outcome is to get young people off the so-called street, keep them actively busy with programs. So we all were after the same, you know, goal, so to speak, but we don't know each other, and we all from the same place. So that was the whole purpose of starting the forum. Of course, from there it became about relationships. It became about how we can share resources. Why should we duplicate certain things? If someone is running a drama club, for instance, in Grondal, why should we start another one? Why can't we work together? So it was all about that. It was all about working together. It was all about building trust. It was all about forming good relationships, and of course a network where we can share resources. So that was the main purpose of us starting the forum. It quickly escalated. We started with 7 people. It went up to about 18, 19 members, and it was, like I say, leaders from organizations from all over Franschoek Valley. We then had to, of course, define ourselves, and I want to move to the next point here, the definition of a forum. And the councillor mentioned it earlier. It is in you know, the National Development Plan that we should have youth forums, but we were asking ourselves, why should we have a forum? What is the difference between a forum and a club versus a team and all of that? And it really came down to for us at the time, it came down to, we should have a forum because we should talk to each other. We should listen to each other. And from there, if we talk to each other and share resources, we can create an environment where people feel supported, and people feel, in this instance, young people or youth leaders feel supported. They feel that they can have a voice. They can go back to their different constituencies and organizations and filter the information through. So we were not really after any, in the beginning, I would say the first year at least, after doing any you know, projects, after running any programs, it was just about building trust, get to know each other, talk to each other, and share resources. So for us, the forum in itself, its definition at the time was a platform where these youth leaders will come together once a month. At the beginning, we were nailing it down to once a month, where we meet face to face at different places. And if 1 month we would be, let's say, at a member organization in Saagmele, then next month we would be in Bosbul, the month after we in Grondal, and so it continues. And we would then talk about issues like, you know, unemployment among the youth, getting to understand our different roles around governance in our organizations, strengthen the leadership capacity, strengthen the understanding of social ills and all of that. So that is what we would discuss in our meetings every single month. That kicked off very well. However, we started to encounter challenges, and I want to come later on. I'll talk about the challenges, but one of the reasons why we had challenges, and that is the next point I'm going to focus on, was because we didn't have any values. We didn't set a certain form of principles and values down that these members had to, you know, aspire towards to. So So what would happen on any given time is that people will not show up for the meeting. They would not communicate well. They would not find it in themselves to apologize if they're running late. Things like that. That becomes, sometimes people think it's small, but for us it was important that we should have those kind of values in place, because it's about respect. It's about respecting each other as leaders and as young people. So we quickly then started to form a set of principles and values for our forum, and we really workshopped those values. We try to include all our members. So our members would be leaders, but they would go down to their constituencies, clubs, NGOs, and so forth, and they would go and discuss these values and principles and come back to the meeting and say, we would like these principles to be in place, like, for instance, respect, empathy, loyalty, for each other, of course, discipline, all that. So when we worked that out, and we workshopped it a couple of times, we had people, leaders of other leaders of other organizations. We invited them and to come and address us, our forum on principles and values. So we had a couple of workshops around that. And really after that, when we formed those values and principles, and we had that in place, the running of the forum became so much easier. So we sort of nailed the principles and values down, and that formed a good structure. If I can talk about the structure now, it is very important that if we start a forum, that we should come down to a structure that suits everybody. And what I mean by this is that, yes, these young people were leaders. We're all leaders, but I mean, I think we can all understand that when you have so many different powerful voices on one platform, sometimes the conversation can go haywire if nobody takes the lead. So we quickly had to form a structure where we said, look, let's select from our 18, out of our 18, let's select or elect 6 people that can be the leaders of this group. So a chairperson, a deputy chairperson, a secretary, a treasurer, and all that. So let's come up with office bearers. And these people will be the voice of this group, because if we're all talking in different voices to different people, it becomes a little bit chaotic. So we did select a office bearers out of our 18 leaders, and came up with 6 people that were talking on behalf of us, that had the mandate to talk on behalf of us. Let's say, for instance, we were engaging with Michelle from the municipality side, it would be this group of people, not the whole forum. We engage with local churches here in Franschoek, or it would be those 6 people and not the whole forum. So we come up with a structure and of office bearers, and these people were the voice of the group. Our business in the beginning was, like I said, in the first year, our means of business was just to build trust, was just to form relationships and have a sort of unified voice, understand our roles and so forth. But then after, our business became what to do. We had to come up with programs, because young people always wants to take action, which is great. We want to be, we want to take action, but of course we need to first understand each other and form a relationship and so forth. So what we then did after that, we decided, look, let's come up with 4 things that we will focus on, because if we try to do too many programs and projects together, it becomes a logistical nightmare. So we said to ourselves, let's come up with 4 things that we want to do as a forum, that will be a collective voice or a collective effort from these youth leaders. So our business, one of these things was to start a newsletter, so that we can, on this newsletter, share the work that these different organizations do in their different communities. We would highlight, some of the good work that members in these organizations do. And that became a good communication tool. We always know what of each other and what work we do, so that we don't duplicate once again and form other partnerships with other people. We also come up with programs that's around awareness around HIV, TB, teenage pregnancies, social problems, unemployment. We would create awareness around that. We came up with leadership workshops because we felt that it's an ongoing process. Young people, are always saying that we don't have good leaders, but what are they doing themselves to learn about leadership? So we had leadership workshops that we had so that the youth can learn about leadership and understand what real leadership means. So that was our means of business in the and we stick to that for 6-7 years. And we had a couple of events where we would bring together 400, 500 young people all over the valley in a arts and culture program, where we used there's a lot of talented young people in our valley that likes to sing, dance, and act, and we would put them on a stage. We would rehearse with them, and we will give them an opportunity to perform to their peers and, of course, their parents. So that is what we did very successfully. We also formed, of course, partnership with local government. We've formed partnership with churches and schools, so that we can work together, and it would be a collective effort, of course. If I can talk quickly about our challenges, the challenges was young people become fatigued. So in the beginning it was needed to have a lot of meetings because we don't know each other, but we quickly realized that we need to sort of break that down to lesser meetings because young people become fatigued. They do a lot of things and therefore don't have the time anymore to lead. So we would then, from sort of the second, third, fourth year, moving from meeting once every month, we would meet to once every quarter, for instance. So that is how we nailed it down, and it really worked. Also, a major challenge was that you've got to be very careful in a forum like this, where if you have too many people that is, let's say, for instance, in the same sector, I can give an example. Let's say if you have people that are, a lot of them are working in the education space, and then what would happen is they would then team up and would not be that interested in people that are in, for instance, the faith-based organizations, and would not like to have topics around that, or conversations around that. So you sort of need to get the balance right of the thing, so that there's not a lot of people in the same sort of sector, so that the dominance leads towards them. So that was a challenge that we encountered, and we had to work really hard to sort of get the balance right of our forum. Lessons that we learned was that you sort of also need to get a forum that is, in terms of age groups, spread, between, let's say, 14 and 55 years. If there are too many people in their late 20s, they of course have their birthdays every year, and they sooner than rather later turn 35, and they are not being classified as youth anymore. And then they need to leave the forum. And if they have not, carried over their skill set or knowledge to other young people, there was no succession planning in place, then the forum would become dormant. And I think that is really what happened to our forum here in Franschoek. The forum became dormant because there was not a lot of succession plans in place. And these young people turned 35 and had to move on, which is not a bad thing, but if you don't have a succession plan in place, the thing can become dormant very quickly. So that was sort of an overview of how we went about. At the moment, the forum in Franschoek is dormant. And there was talks just before COVID last year to start it again. However, COVID happened and the physical face-to-face meetings was not possible. And I think we need to start with that process again. Thank you very much, everyone, for the opportunity. if we would like to know more, please send me an email and I can share more about the Franschoek Forum and the lessons that we've learned.
Thank you very much, Jeremy, for the insight into the forum and its operations. I think a lot of us that weren't involved in forums yet learned a few pointers from you now. So thank you very much. I know your time is precious and that you've got another meeting. So in advance, very thank you for your presentation.
Thank you, Portia. We'll talk soon again. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Okay. Now, I will just do a presentation from our department side so that you know where we are at. How's it now? No, sorry. Ooh. Just share my screen. Yes, from the community development side, I would just like to give you a brief overview of what we intend. So our vision for our department is to create communities where all vulnerable persons have access to services and to participate actively in their own development. And then linked to this, we see our councillor has alerted to the National Development Plan for the youth. And this is the Western Cape's priority for the youth, is to improve education outcomes and opportunities for youth development. So it's all linked together with all the legislation, and which is also aligned to our department community development strategy, which identifies youth development as a core component for healthy communities. And then we have just aligned our goals is to facilitate. Let me just move this. Can I move this up? To facilitate community participation with provincial government departments, local government and the community of Stellenbosch, and then to facilitate the development and sustainment of networks and partnerships, and to create opportunities to build the capacity of community members and resources. Okay, the current, sorry for all the hiccups, the technology is a challenge. The current programs that we are currently running to address those priorities is our youth skills training, which we give accredited training for the youth. And examples of that is within our hospitality sector, where we have the assistant chef program, and artisan training, where we do general building and maintenance and plumbing. Youth drama programs that we usually do with our provincial department of DCAS. So at the moment, those programs are on hold because of COVID, because of the COVID pandemic. We are doing job readiness programs and life skills programs together with our partners as well. And there we can see just a breakdown of what the current programs are and what we've done in the past. We had the Cape Winelands Drama Festival with Department of Cultural Affairs and Sports, where they promoted drama and poetry, writing workshops, acting workshops. With our Department of Sports, they had the Indigenous sporting codes for the youth, and regional games were also held annually. And then with our job readiness camps and life skills programs, we work together with the Department of Social Development, Department of Labor, relevant stakeholders, and NGOs, just to create relevant skills programs for our youth. And we also partner with NYDA with their youth programs, which is aligned to the National Youth Strategy. They've got the NYS programs that's currently running, co-ops opportunities, entrepreneurship training, and skills training as well. So these are all the different programs that we would like to roll out and did roll out in the past with different partners and stakeholders. And then just some pointers on what we would like to achieve with a forum for the youth is to ensure effective communication between the youth of Stellenbosch and the municipality. At the moment, we don't get all inputs from the youth, and we want to ensure that that communication is being streamlined. So for all development opportunities, we would like to have effective communication. And then to facilitate youth development in line with the mandate of local government through the IDP process. This is an important aspect for us, because mostly we find on the IDP priorities that the adults' voices are mainly heard and that the youth do not get to streamline their issues through the municipality. So we would like the youth to engage with the IDP processes so that we can prioritize the youth issues. And then obviously for us is to have effective youth dialogues to promote critical thinking and to create active citizenry and community within the youth structure. And also another objective is to have respect that youth have different needs and interests, and we would like to strive towards inclusion of cultural, religious, academic, sport, health, and economic development needs in all different areas within our municipality. And then to identify, together with the youth, identify sustainable programs that will address the youth development and improve educational outcomes in line with the municipal IDP programs and the vision, and to build capacity and leadership among local youth, as well as to encourage and support. We would like the youth to encourage and support the municipality to do proper youth analysis as a core component of the IDP. So our desired outcome for our department and for the municipality is to have empowered youth equipped with information, knowledge, and skills that will enable them to seize opportunities and effectively take responsibility in making a meaningful contribution to the development of a democratic and prosperous South Africa. Thank you very much. I will now give the opportunity to Chantal from Open Up to share her presentation.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning to all the participants online, as well as our participants physically present here with us today. I'm Chantal, and I'm the Stakeholder Engagement Strategist for Open Up. I've got my team here. The Program Manager for the overall local government program is Adrian Kearns. He's also joining online. Then we've got Damien Poole, who's the project coordinator for the Cloetesville Youth Program and other projects also in the organization. And unfortunately, the main person who's going to be working with the Cloetesville youth communities is Mr. Katlego Motlhabane, and unfortunately he's double booked for another session, but we will formally introduce him to you after today, because we will be in contact via WhatsApp and other platforms. Okay, so Open Up is a civic technology organization. We develop open source online tools, which contains mostly these two programs that I've worked on, Municipal Money and Vuleka Mali, which Adrian is spearheading at the moment. But those other types of tools that we develop, it contains data of provincial, national and local governments in terms of how municipalities spend their money. So we are moving everything towards open, and anybody can access those platforms at any time without having to log in with passwords, etc. So yes, and Open Up, we've got 3 goals, which is to inform, empower and activate, hence our Cloetesville program for youth. Like Portia rightfully said now, the municipality is not getting the input always from the youth. So we are building processes and putting structures and systems in place to actually bring out the voice of the youth more and to engage more with him. So our mission at Open Up is to build tools, open up data and provide data training, which supports an active citizenry and helps communities and governments work better together. Our target audience is youth aged between 14 and 25, but we are also not losing sight of the 14 to the group from 25 to 35. But in the past, when we've implemented programs, we found that if we have the group from 14 to 35 in one room, then it doesn't play out the way that we want it to, because obviously the younger ones feels overwhelmed and so forth. So we are redesigning our approach and our initiatives to actually accommodate both groups at different times. So our mission is to build tools to open up data and provide data training, which supports an active citizenry and helps communities and governments work better together. Hence our partnership with the municipality, because we want to really bridge that gap, because sometimes communities think that municipalities are not doing anything to address their needs, when it's just that people might not be aware of processes. And in some instances, it is the case that municipalities don't go the extra mile to involve people. So the crux of this program is built around the fact that we want active citizens, we want participation, and the municipalities also want that, and that's why we are supporting this program, because it's built on the notion of public participation. So how many young people do we have in South Africa? We've got a lot. We've got 10,406,817 in South Africa. And this information we've taken from one of our tools that we've developed, Youth Explorer, which is a portal, a data portal that contains data around youth only with different thematic areas. And we will share the links also. Then in the Western Cape, we've got 1,062,970, and in Stellenbosch we've got 2,445 youth, and that's between the age of 14 and 25, because that's the data that's provided on the portal. So what is our approach in the Cloetesville Youth Program? We work with youth so that we can design community, so that we can arrive at community-led solutions for the youth by the youth. What are we trying to solve? So before we even start a Cloetesville Youth Program in a municipality, we have a lot of engagements with the the officials working in that particular portfolio. And these are some of the statements from municipal officials of the various municipalities that we're working with. They are of the opinion that the municipality currently does not have a formal platform through which to engage with the youth. The voice of the youth is not adequately represented in the IDP. Dialogue with youth and the development of guidelines for initiatives to address issues affecting youth is needed within our communities. So already here the municipality is acknowledging that gap and the challenge in terms of public youth and public participation. What is the goals of the Codebridge Youth Program? It is to inspire youth to translate their ideas into action by participating in local government processes and structures. Because we all know that there's IDP meetings twice a year, but it's never attended by youth, or it's most likely not to be attended by them. I mustn't say never, but we are trying to strengthen that process of getting them into the public participation meetings so that they can voice what their development need and priorities are. And then also to introduce youth to municipal legislation, because we do training on the IDP and the budgets so that you understand the affairs of local government and how local government works and what the role of the councillor, the mayor, the speaker, and the portfolio committees are, and how you can best engage with those structures that's in place, and also the ward committees, of course. And then data and technology to expand knowledge for meaningful participation. So we've got different types of technology. We've got civic technology, and then we've got what we call government technology. So we have digitized the bylaws of a few municipalities, which makes it easier for people to understand what those are about. And we've done workshops around that. So that's really how thorough we aim to be and how we are in terms of getting people involved, because if they don't understand the legislation, they don't know what information exists and how they need to use that information to become active citizens, then there will be no participation. And I think that's mostly the reason why people don't participate, because they don't know what they must go and say in those meetings. And then to encourage youth to meet up twice a month to work on projects. And this is where Katlego will be very instrumental. In the other municipalities, after we've done youth summits and nominated the forum, we embark on bi-weekly meetups, which we call Codebridge Youth Meetups. We have a WhatsApp group, and then they meet up via Zoom. So in some municipalities, we've got venues and the youth get access to data. In others, it's not the case. So we are also trying to solve that, to bridge that gap or solve that challenge with the municipalities by looking at various ways of how we can actually empower them with the resources that they need to participate. Then our program deliverables is, how are we doing this? We need partnership with municipalities. In other areas, it takes very long for municipalities to maybe come on board. Then we would tweak our approach and then work with a youth empowerment organization or organizations in that area of jurisdiction of the municipality. We establish youth forums with representatives in each ward, because like Portia said, the people need to have a voice and not everybody can engage the municipality. So the forum becomes the recognized voice, and that's why it needs to be representative across all wards. We do public participation summits like we're doing now, and it's actually so good to see that we have people online and that we've got people physically sitting in a venue. So COVID-19 does have its advantages also. And then we develop from this process after the youth forum has been nominated, and we have ward-wide inputs of what the needs of the youth would be and how they imagine the area. Then we would craft youth policies, we would create user stories, we would do research, and Portia showed a few existing training programs. We also do webinars and training with the youth. So we will be developing like a yearly calendar with the curriculum to support the program and the youth. And then bi-weekly meetups via online platforms to get trained and discuss projects. And then creating relevant networks and online communities, because we do know and we do see that the world is going online. So we need to equip the youth to be able to participate online. Our participating municipalities currently is Cape Agulhas Municipality, Matsikama, Bergrivier, Cedarburg, in Swartland. We signed an agreement, but we haven't started yet. Today we've got the summit in Stellenbosch, so we kicked off. Saldanha Bay will be kicking off later in this month as well. And then we've got Umgeni Municipality in KZN. And then we've got Overstrand, which will be onboarded soon. Yeah. So how does this work? We're at the summits, and I will show a short video clip after when I'm done with the presentation so that you can see actually how we work with the youth when we do these summits. And the process that we follow is you decide what is important and take action. So we normally have an agenda wall and they can stick all the issues on there. Then we take like the top 10 issues and then we translate those into projects, because often also the experience is that there's 7 phases in the IDP, but the project phase is missing. So people say, yeah, substance abuse and what's the other things that's normally listed, service delivery issues, etc. But it never gets translated into a particular project that's being encapsulated in the IDP in order for it to be funded. And we all know that that's where everything gets messy, because if it's not in the IDP, it's not going to receive the necessary attention for budgeting purposes. And then you gather the data about your issue and present this to the municipality. So I've already mentioned Vule Kamale, Municipal Money, and Youth Explorer. Those are the tools that we've developed with data. And then in our trainings, when it's, say, for instance, it's school dropout, then we take the data from that portal, and then they must use that data to build a business case and explain to the municipality or whichever sectoral department is responsible for that particular thematic area, why it is that they want to implement or kick off with a certain project. So that is what we mean by you gather data about your issue and present it to the municipality. Okay, the video we will play later. What is our current reality? So we've got functional youth forums in 2 municipalities right now. We've established the Coatbridge Youth Hubs in other municipalities, but these are for the municipalities whose champions are really on board and on point and working hand in glove with us in order to change the dynamics for the youth in the municipal area. So it's existing in all wards. So the idea here is you've got forum members who will meet, but then they need to go back to their constituencies. They need to have meetings with the youth and give constant feedback and do follow-ups so that we don't become fatigued, like Jeremy said earlier on, but so that they can see that there's actually this action. We've got youth portfolio representation in ward committee meetings. That's some of the successes that we've achieved. The youth participated in the entire IDP cycle and made project submissions to the municipality. We have evidence of the fact that they've attended meetings, there's minutes, there's photos, and the things that they actually minuted and asked for is now seen in the IDPs of those municipalities. And yeah, it's listed in there. And then the virtual summits we're having now, and then Cape Agulhas will be re-electing their new forum virtually because they started in 2019 already. So we are again at the re-election phase with them. Achievements. The Cape Agulhas youth hosted their own IDP roadshow last year. Due to COVID, there was online engagement from the municipality side, but they went to the towns physically and they just solicited issues from the youth because this is their target area. Then we had a youth policy that was drafted with the input from the youth so that the document doesn't become a shelf document where other people decided that this is what the youth need, but it's stuff that they themselves wanted in there. So that will make them work towards achieving what they've set out there. And they are also hosting their own summit. So they've gotten some event management skills there. So we also just supported, but they drove the whole project. And like they've invited all the stakeholders. For instance, if it's substance and drug abuse, they had all the stakeholders involved in that type of meeting to discuss issues and to hear about what budgets are available, what are your existing programs, what's your way forward, and how can we marry these two things. Then they also participated in a SALGA National Knowledge Sharing Forum and an international forum called International Center for Leadership and Democracy, which is a Swedish agency. They are doing projects around the smart cities. And these people were very impressed by the fact that the youth could so easily speak about their involvement in public participation, the processes, the challenges, the achievements, and how they see the way forward. More municipalities are currently joining, where we needed to beg and plea for municipalities to come on board. They are seeing the successes, so we are approached now. It's like the other way around, and also other key CSOs and people who see the Facebook page posts, because every community's got their own Facebook page also, and then all the stuff gets shared on the municipal pages, and that's how people become aware of this program. And then we've, as a direct result of the success of the program, and Adrian is in charge of this part of the project, we've developed a public participation tool. It's online. We will present that at another time. But the municipalities, all their engagements is on this tool, and people can now see online where the public participation meetings are, when it is, when do they have council meetings, all of that. But the most important thing is there's a period where people can submit comments to the IDP, which actually also never happens. People leave the IDP meeting and it's just left there. But on this tool, there is a section where you can go leave your comment and the municipality will get it. So even if you didn't attend the public participation meeting, you still have an opportunity online to submit comments to the municipality. What were some of our greatest challenges? Access to venues and internet, responsiveness of some officials and departments responsible for public participation and youth development, and access to budgets for implementations. As we know that youth development is, basic service delivery is a core mandate of a municipality. So it's perceived that these are unfunded mandates, but I believe differently, but that's not for this platform. Yeah, so those were the struggles that we had. And the next steps would be selecting and establishing youth forums. We are doing that for the whole month of March with the municipalities that expressed interest in the program. Stronger liaison with the Office of the Speaker, because the Office of the Speaker is mandated with a public participation portfolio, and that links to the ward committees, and obviously then the youth forum and the ward committees need to work hand in glove. And then getting more youth involved through online platforms. And we have a website that where people can access us through WhatsApp, so that they can become part of the WhatsApp groups, and also there's membership forms for becoming part of the Code Beach Youth Hub. Issues for consideration: how effective is communication between the community and the municipality? And these are most probably things that we will create user stories from, because we're going to be involved with the people who needs to engage, and then they can share their stories, and that will then serve as a yardstick for Portia and her team to improve on those issues. And then, do communities have an understanding of how the budget relates to the IDP? That will also be like work sessions and so forth. And is there any follow-up re-implementation? Because now your project is listed in the IDP, and then now what? How are we taking that forward? So that will also be part of our process of implementation. We believe that active communities are rooted in addressing the real issues, and we build great communities. So I'm going to ask Damien to share the video now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I also I need to encourage everybody online to drop questions in the chat box for us regarding all the presentations and the speeches that was made now. And then we will also allow for a Q&A session here in the venues where we are. Thank you. Just waiting for Damien to get the video up so that you can see what we've done with other Cloetesville youth communities. Okay, there he goes. Why is my screen still sharing?
Vir ons as Cederberg munisipaliteit is dankie sê vir open aanvraag. Vir community advancement dit kan wees van inhoud. Vir ons is dit belangrik dat jeugdiges self moet sê wat die uitdagings van 'n Cederberg is. Ons kan nie in raadsale sit en kantore sit en besluit iets wat regtig jeugpla as drug abuse, teenage pregnancies. Dit is issues wat binne die gemeenskappe kwelpunte is, maar dit moet nie van ons afkom nie. Die 3 dae bied hulle die geleentheid om met ons te praat, te sê wat die issues is, en vir ons dan natuurlik dit te rekord en verder te vat. Ons het heiliglik 'n youth policy wat in draafvorm is. Dit is belangrik dat daai policy tafel moet word, deur council moet gaan en as 'n werkbare dokument daar gestel word. Selfs met dit kan ons die youth policy 'n praktiese werkbare dokument maak wat reg spreek tot wat op die grond issues verheerlik is.
Wow, what an experience this morning. For so many years, we as a municipality have been running public participation programs and have been involving the public in determining needs and in determining how are we going to reach our vision, how are we going to achieve what we really believe in. And it's the first time I've been to a session where I could sense the energy and the hope and the expectations of young people, where they really want to commit themselves to a better future for everybody, where they can be the leaders of tomorrow, where they can make Bergrivier as a municipal area and as a society a better place for everybody to live in. I just sincerely hope that we can walk and move to that level now, where we can start working on programs and projects and businesses and opportunities, where we can really see young people becoming active citizens and becoming productive citizens, so that we can have really again a better life for everybody, that they can become role models. I think this group of young people sitting here must become the role models for other people to say, for other young people to think. But there is hope for me. There is a better future for me. If I become involved and I'm a part of these programs and these projects, I can have a business, I can have maybe a job, or I can improve my own skills levels so that I can become a better citizen for this beautiful country of ours.
Basically voel ek oor die saak, sinds die munisipaliteit nog nie 'n youth policy in plek gestel het, ek voel dit asof ons nie saak maak as die jeug nie, want ons het geen kennis ewen gedra dat 'n youth policy besig was om opgestel te word nie. So basically maak ons die saak as die jeug nie. Dit is hoekom Klein Willem se jeug opgevang is in alcohol, dwelms, misdaad, alles. Want ons word nie ge-acknowledge as die jeug nie. Daar word die opportunities geskep. Ons het nie 'n platform om letterlik ons opinies te stuit, hoesvloer dinge nie. Want ons voel letterlik useless. Want ons sit ons vertroue in die munisipaliteit om ons verder te vat, ons te empower as youth. Want ons is die mense van môre, ons moet môre oormôre die ander kinders, die jong span oplei om beter te wees, self te improve en te weet dat sy is spesiaal Jy maak saak, ongeag hoe klein jy is, hoe min mense van jou dink jy is persoon, jy maak saak en jou opinie is geldig.
Thank you, everyone. I don't think everyone has heard me. I just unmuted myself now. If there is any questions from anyone in the different venues. Do we have any questions? If there's no questions from the group, our way forward, we would like to go through a process where we are gonna elect a forum. Okay, we've got one question here with us. You can come forward, sir.
Okay. Okay, thanks, ma'am. My name is Leonard Chelesi here in Klapmuts. My question is simple, Mama. Firstly, who's Porsche? Are you a Porsche? Okay. I think last month we were receiving messages of, let's just send the names of our delegates. They can stand for the youth forums in our areas, our different areas in Stellenbosch. I don't know, maybe those names are still on your system or not. Are you here to elect a new members for the forum now? I think here in Klapmuts, I was sending the names. It was on the 9th of February. It's going to stand for the youth forum.
Okay, from my side, I don't think I've received, but if I have, I will just check my. Oh, okay, then I've got it. The process is we just wanted representation from all the wards, the communication that was sent out from all the wards to start the process. So there still needs to be an official election process from all the youth that will be attending. So this was only an introduction session today to get you to your thinking correct on what and how we would like to forward this process. So those candidates that was nominated, we are going to start another nomination process as well. So those names will be taken into consideration, and then we will have an online nomination process together with people nominating on paper where they can hand the nominations in as well. For those that are not technology, yeah. On our chat, we've also got a comment that says that we need to take into consideration the gender representation on the youth. We will definitely look at gender equality and see that there's enough male and female representation. Sometimes I think there's more females willing than males, so we would really like those representation to be correct. And then obviously we would like to have representation on the different sectors within our community. So for sports, for culture, for arts and crafts, social organizations, we would really like to include all those. As Jeremy also alluded to the fact that sometimes there's more sports or more people that's more in education driven that usually are on board, but we would really like to have a nice balance on it. So we've got another question. You can just come forward, sir. You must come and
Okay, I have one question, which is it's on age restriction. If you are 35 years or 34, let's say, are you still qualifying on the youth forum? To where does it the age restriction goes to?
The age, according to government, our age of youth is from up to the age of 35 years old. After 35, you are no longer seen as youth. But we would like to, with this structure, start with the age group from 18 to 26. Yeah? Within that bracket, we are not going to leave the others behind. Just for the mere fact that that age group has got a bit more of the same thinking. Yeah? Somebody that is 30 would not have the same issues towards the guy that is only 20 years old. So we would like to first start up with the age group 18 to 26 to structure that, and then move on to the next age group at the later stage. Because we find that those that are older and are in the working sector already, they've got other urgent issues than the ones that have just left school. Just to keep that that structures, although we say it's a youth forum, but we need to see that the needs and the issues of the different groups are well balanced. Are there any other issues from the floor, from or on the chats?
So yeah, what are your thoughts around the upcoming meetings and how do you see your role? What do you want to be informed about? What do you, yeah.
Is there any other comments from the other venues?
Hello. Yes, nobody at Cloetesville. Cool. So there's no questions here also.
Thank you, Johan.
Franschoek have no comments or questions.
Chantal is just going to take us through the next steps with the nomination process.
Hello, everybody, again. Today really served as an introductory process of the partnership between the municipality, background on what the municipality earmarks to achieve within the next 12 months, and then also what our program is about. And then next steps would be that we will have another engagement of the same sort, where the youth forum will be then formally established. So we will be in touch via Facebook, via WhatsApp, and then inform everybody about the process and how it's going to unfold. We have decided on a date. Portia, what's it? It will be in April, and she's going to give the exact date now. The 15th of April. So we must now, everybody who's attended today's session, you will be the people who we're going to work with, and who will help us to mobilize more of the youth to become involved in the process. And that is where, like I previously said, Katlego Motlabani, who was unable to attend this session, will be engaging directly with everybody. So that is from my side. I'm looking forward, and thank you for your time, but Portia will do the conclusions now. So that is in terms of the way forward. Thank you.
Okay, just from my side and my team's side, thank you very much for everybody that attended today. We look forward to really working together, because this has been, I think, a very delicate subject within the municipal structure on how are we going to approach the youth forum. But I would like to say thank you to you. Thank you for your commitment to the youth. Thank you for your time that you've set out for us. And then thank you to all our speakers. I know our councillor has left for another meeting, as well as Jeremy Davids. Thank you for their time in their absence. Thank you to Chantal and her team from Open Up. They've done a lot of work behind the scenes, and they are also going to be actively part of all our youth engagements from now on. Yes, so thank you very much. You will hear from us very soon for the nomination process and how we're going to work towards that. Thank you.